Abhishek, Varun and Srishti from our team to give us a roundup of all the stocks that are likely to buzz in trade today. Abhishek, let's start with you. Which are the stocks on your list?
So yes, let's start with the Wipro. So Wipro has reported its Q1 numbers. Numbers are broadly in line with the estimates. Post Q1 result, the management has guided for a -1 to 1% kind of a revenue growth for Q2, indicating that the management is expecting some kind of a sequential revival in its performance in Q2. Further, the management is expecting H2 would be better than that of H1. And the key highlight in this performance is that strong growth in its TCV. So TCV has grown by almost 25% QOQ, supported by the few of the large orders, although it may have some kind of impact on its margin. Based on this kind of a performance, although there is no major earning upgradation is expected, but given that the performance is prima facie appears to be an outlier amongst the IT Peg, stock may react slightly positive to neutral. Other than that, Axis Bank has also reported its numbers. Numbers were quite weak, but the weakness is mainly due to the change in its accounting policy. So now the management has tightened its NPA recognition policy and assessing whole of its books. Because of that, the slippages have increased and there was some kind of a pressure on its credit policy. Although it appears to be a one-time exercise, but it may have some kind of impact on its performance or in its financials. So as long as this one-time cost will not get absorbed, it's not expected a material upgradation in its earnings, and because of that, stock may remain range bound with a negative bias.
Okay, so weak set of numbers from Axis Bank, but commentary from Wipro continues to remain very strong, where they're expecting the second half of this year to be better than the first half. But Sharath, you tell us, several other companies reported their numbers. How were they?
From the earnings pack, first we are having LTI Mindtree, largely inline set of decent numbers coming in the first quarter. Interestingly, the EBIT margin that has expanded almost 50 basis points on a sequential basis, coming in at 14.3 odd percent. Now revenue came in at a roughly $1153 million, and that was also in line with the overall street estimates. And of course, over the last 2 years, LTI Mindtree was facing some pressure in the industry, but under the new management, it seems that the stock might gather momentum. Also, IHCL, neutral set of numbers coming in, mixed quarter. Impact of border tension and flight delays were seen in the occupancies, but the ARR, the average room rentals and the RevPAR, they are still positive. Revenue EBITDA is in line. PAT margin has missed estimates. And lastly, Tata Communications had been focused. Weak set of quarterly numbers coming, and the net profit that is down almost 82% on a sequential basis. And also interestingly, the company will be raising roughly 1,000 crore rupees via NCDs.
All right, so those are all the earnings counters that we'll be tracking in today's trade. But Srishti, now coming to you, very good morning. You've picked out Lupin and CEAT for us. What's the news flow here?
Well, good morning. Firstly, on the Lupin side, what we are getting to understand that there's one positive and one negative news flow, wherein on the positive side, Lupin has achieved the GMP certification from Australian authority for one of their API facilities. That is indeed positive, but on the flip side, the negative news flow is actually the observations received for their Pithampur Unit 2, where the company has received observations with a Form 483 as well. And to remember that Pithampur is one of the key facilities for Lupin, so let's have all eyes on that. But on the other hand, CEAT will be in focus on the back of the earnings. If we see this time around, though the revenue has come in line to the street estimates, but there's a slight miss on the EBITDA as well as profit figure, wherein the profit has actually seen a decline of 9% on a YY basis. The EBITDA has seen a growth of 2.5% on a YY basis, but that's marginally lower than what the street was penciling in, though the top line, which is standing at 3,521 crores, stands in line. But the other part is actually the miss on the gross margin front, because do remember the management has been highlighting the fact that they are expecting the margins to improve given the raw material cost inflation and the basket overall impacting the numbers. But this time we have seen a contraction in the gross margins, and it's a 70 basis points of decline on a sequential basis and 250 basis points of contraction on a YY basis. But along with that, the company has also announced a capacity addition for one of their plants, and that's why this particular stock will be in focus today.
Set of numbers coming in from CEAT and several other pharma stocks are also in focus. But Varun, good morning. You tell us which stocks are on your radar this Friday morning.
Good morning. So keep an eye on textile stocks, keep an eye on United Spirits as well, because what we learn from our sources is that India and UK are likely to sign the free trade agreement next week. The agreement is likely to be signed after a review process of legal scrubbing of the FTA text. So keep an eye on textile stocks and United Spirits as well, because they could react positively on this news. Keep an eye on Geo Finance, because the company has reported its number. The numbers are almost mixed bag, because if you look at the net interest income, that is up by around 63% on a YOY basis, but on a quarter-on-quarter basis it is down by around 1.5%. The profit growth has been in low single digit. On a year-on-year basis it has been around 3.9%, and on a quarter-on-quarter basis it has been around 2.7%. The overall AUM for the AMC stands at around 17,876 crores, and Geo Credit Limit AUM has increased by around 16% on a quarter-on-quarter basis, and on a year-on-year basis there has been an exponential rise. The PPOP, that is also by around 8% to around 366 crores. Also keep an eye on HL, because the company has received the first set of wing assemblies for the LCA Tejas Mk1A from L&T, and this is a good news for HL, so keep an eye on HL as well.
Okay, so those are the stocks that we will be tracking today. Thank you so much, Abhishek, Srishti, Sharad and Varun for joining us and taking us through the list of all the stocks that are expected to buzz in today's trade. Thank you so much.